Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines, and I'm with Living the One Light. And in this video, I'm being called and asked by the spirit world to speak about some really beautiful and prominent themes in the very strongly Uranian, very powerful new moon that we have happening on February 9th, 2024. And it's going to be a new moon in Aquarius. And the new moon itself is going to be almost exactly squaring Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius. We just had Uranus going direct on January 26th or 27th, depending on where you are in the world. And I'm recording this on January 29th, 2024. So Uranus just went direct a couple days ago when it's in the moment of when I'm recording this video. So the themes that I am certainly being drawn to the most in this new moon are Uranus, Aquarius, big time, and specifically Uranus in Taurus, and what arises in all of that. So so first I'm going to show you the chart just so I can show you the basics of what's there in the astrology jumping out at me. And then I'm going to dive into what the spirit world is wanting to really convey about the energetics and the opportunities in this time. But on a basic level, just to give an overview of what came through in my praying this morning when I was praying on, what to bring forward in this video, the gist is that the spirit world is wanting to convey the feeling, and maybe I'll even just let them channel. We'll see what wants to come through. Because they often say it way better than I do. I do. Me, Martha, my brain. Yeah, anyway, we'll see. But so what they're really wanting to convey, the nutshell, is that when we think of Uranian energy, Aquarian energy, especially Uranian energy, we think of fast changes and quick, coming out of the blue, things occur. But the real truth of Uranus energy, Uranian energy, is not necessarily about change. It is about radical, complete alignment with the truth of the energetic of ourselves as the divine. And specifically, this is the big thing that the spirit world's really wanting me to hold space for us to drop into, is this, the energetic of what it is, Uranus in Taurus, what that represents. Because what that represents is really more and more and more, as we're moving into such a Uranian Aquarian time, is really about what it is to be the pure essence, the pure energy, the pure energetic of the divine embodied as earth. The two together, not not them being separate anymore in any sense whatsoever. So I'm going to drop more into that. I would really love to give even an opportunity for us to feel it on a visceral level, what that is like, and convey more of what the spirit world is wanting me to say. So, but first, let's look at the chart real quick so I can show you the main components, because there are a few different things here that I think are really interesting and really key. All right. So, okay, so here is the new moon, 20 degrees, 40 minutes of Aquarius. And it actually happens to be conjunct the asteroid Cupido. So Cupido is Cupid, right? This is another name for Eros. And what's fascinating also, when I took a look at this, actually Eros, there's one asteroid named Cupid, and there's another asteroid named Eros. And I have been really following both Cupid and Eros asteroids in astrology charts for about the last year-ish, and just noticing where I see them being prominent in certain people's charts or in certain times in the world. And they seem to interweave in a really interesting, fascinating way. And they seem to be equally strong. I sometimes find that the Cupido and asteroid energy is a little more subtle than the Eros asteroid. But anyway, in this chart, they happen to both be relatively prominent. I mean, the Cupido asteroid, like I already said, is exactly conjunct the new moon. But then Eros, something I've been noticing for a few months is that Eros in this time coming up right now, especially in February of 2024, is going to be conjunct the North Node. And it's going to be conjunct the North Node at the same time that that Chiron is going to be conjunct the North Node, and that also we're going to have the Venus-Mars conjunction happening in around 5 degrees of Aquarius. This is all happening in February, more toward the end of February. And the other thing that is fascinating at this time is that Psyche, who is the lover, the partner of Eros, is actually squaring the nodes exactly. So there's this really fascinating dance going on at the time of this new moon and throughout February that involves this Cupido Eros Psyche dynamic. Really, really interesting. And I mean, an energetic that I maybe need to just drop into more on my own and feel, there's so many layers there. There's so much alive in that story, in that, yeah, what the possibilities of what that could represent or really touch on in each of us, in each of you, in our world. But one of the things that calls to me about how prominent, especially the Cupido conjunct the new moon, and then Eros on the North Node with Chiron, is this reminder of sacred sexuality and of our own. It brings us back to our body. It brings us back to the reality that we are earth bodies. But earth bodies and cosmic bodies at the same time. We are source energy itself. So to me, Eros energy is certainly related to sexuality, but it's really source energy. It's what creates everything. And it's going to be conjunct Chiron, conjunct the North Node. So that there's this really beautiful, powerful healing potential there in bringing us back into our bodies, into ourselves as literal creations of source, of life force. And to have Cupido conjunct the new moon, again, also is bringing us back to that reality. So when we think of Aquarius energy or Uranian energy, just in and of itself, that can feel somewhat disembodied. And Uranian energy, like I've already said, often is thought of as, being related to very quick changes, etc. But Uranus in Taurus and this Cupido conjunct this North Node in Aquarius, both are reminding us that at the ultimate level, Uranus and also Aquarius link us back directly to our pure alignment as the intelligence of the divine, as the vision of the divine, and as the divine. What I'm hearing is the divine light codes, but also it's the divine web. It's the divine. Wow, why am I forgetting this word? It's the light grid. That's what I'm trying to say. The Uranian and Aquarian energies both drop us back, align us, and click us into the pure light grid of ourselves, of existence, of everything. And what I see in this, bringing in the Cupido and the Eros energy is that it's reminding us that that light grid is manifesting in ourselves as beings of bodies, beings of Eros, beings of aliveness in an embodied way. We're not just sparks of light over in source, or sparks of light flying around the cosmos. If we were just that, we would not be in human earth bodies, but we are in human earth bodies. So yeah, okay, so in a minute I'm getting the sense I'm going to channel something about that, because that is feeling really, really key and important, and it's hard for me to convey in my human words, so I'll let them talk instead. Okay, but just to finish with a couple more points about the astrology here. So, and as always, there's so much more than I'm naming, but I'll just name the few things that really are sticking out. So, in addition to Cupido being conjunct the new moon, we also have the asteroid Vesta trining the new moon, which brings an element. Vesta is the keeper of the hearth. So Vesta for me always brings in this element of holding space for the sacred, and for the reality that we are sacred beings. So again, that to me, that emphasizes the sacred nature of the sacred sexuality of the Cupido energy, and everything I just talked about just kind of adds in all of that. Then the new moon, Cupido and Vesta actually are a little bit loosely, but are actually in what you could call a grand air trine with the south node conjunct Shiva. So I won't go deeply into that, but just to point it out for any of you who want to feel into that reality, it's bringing it. It's just, to me, that's just grounding things even more powerfully. All of what I already just said, and then another really interesting thing, is at this time, Asclepius, the asteroid, is actually conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And Asclepius, a really, really brief version, is considered a father of medicine. So to have Asclepius conjunct Neptune in Pisces, again, just brings in this really beautiful reminder of the healing nature, the healing potential in all of this, and our need to be in connection with our bodies, and in really direct listening to the direct wisdom, the divine wisdom of and healing available in our relationship to our earth bodies. Let me see if there's anything else that really wants to be named right this second. I'll just also say, so we also just had a conjunction between Saturn and Hygeia. And Hygeia is also the healer, right? She's the daughter of, guess what, Asclepius. So we also just had this really beautiful conjunction of Saturn with Hygeia in Pisces. And I have been really feeling that strongly, because their conjunction happened exactly on my own Mercury in my 6th house. And how it felt for me was this really powerful reminder. And actually, I saw this in a lot of my clients and a lot of you in the various groups I've been holding. A really powerful reminder of, again, the wisdom of our earth bodies and the need to come back to the reality of the wisdom of our bodies and not get just disembodied, but literally to be with it, feel it. So, yeah, so okay, I'm gonna come out of screen share right this second. And yeah, one thing that came up that was so that's really stuck with me since this came through in a channeling that I did the other day was let's see, this was I held the opening ceremony for the Ultimate Divine Blueprint series, and lots of you were there, and that series actually I would call it still open-ish. I feel like there might be a few more of you who are meant to be a part of it. We have now had our first channeled gathering and our first sharing circle, and it's a year-long group. It's an amazing group. Wow, just like seriously blowing my mind. I'm in awe of those of you in it. Wow. Um, so beyond words. And so if you feel called to, I'll put the link with, with this video. If you feel called to be there, I would say it's still okay to join. Um, I would join sooner rather than later just because it's going now. So, so yeah. But if you are meant to be there, I definitely want you to be able to be there. Um, and And the other thing, I'll say more at the end, but the other thing that's starting February 1st is the Astrology 101 course. So if you're meant to be part of that, please, please, please join us for that sooner rather than later. Also, because I will still continue to have it open after the opening ceremony, but the opening ceremony is going to really ground in the container and the energetic of the whole year together. And so it'd be really, really wonderful to have you there for that or soon after that if it's calling to you. Okay, but but in the opening ceremony for the Divine Blueprint series, lots of things came through when I was channeling, but one sentence that really stuck with me personally and is very related to this new moon energy and what the spirit world is wanting me to convey is at some point they said, the wisdom of our bodies is actually the light speaking. So yeah, I'm just gonna channel because again, so much easier to just let them talk than to try to get this out in my own human words. Okay. So I will. All right. Okay, so hello, beautiful souls. So the real ultimate point here that we are wanting to convey in this time, in this video, with the energetic of this new moon and the energetic of Uranus moving direct, Pluto now being in Aquarius, the new moon being square almost exactly to Uranus, which rules Aquarius. What we're really wanting to convey is what it is to be light and to be beings of light who are in earth, bodies of earth. So what is so crucial in this time is number one, as we've talked about many times, there is an opportunity and a calling now to come into the ultimate divine blueprint of existence, the ultimate truth of who you are, of what all things are on the ultimate divine blueprint level. And most crucial in that is a remembering of yourself as wholeness itself. So, in this ultimate divine blueprint of you, of existence, it's really just a matter of remembering what you are as wholeness, as the divine light grid that is the wholeness and the beauty and the oneness of the all that is. So, Source itself is everything. It is time, it is space, and it is also beyond time and beyond space. There is the time space continuum. There is the void that is beyond the time space continuum. And then there is just source itself, which is all of that and more and everything. So as you are in a body in the time space continuum, you are embodied in the time space continuum by definition. And it is important, crucial to also remember yourself to be able to live in the reality and the knowing of what it is that you are also on the ultimate level source itself, which is not necessarily embodied in the earth body sense, but in your choosing to be incarnated and embodied in this lifetime, in this time, you are here as an earth being, an earth body. And so there has been this long pattern of disconnecting body and spirit, as you know. And so there can still be this tendency to think of when you have this notion that you will become your light bodies or homoluminous ones, or to remember yourselves as the light, there still can be this tendency to think of it as something other than, something different from, or a consciousness that is different from the embodiment of yourself as earth. And one component of all of this that is so true is that in your lifetimes, and in this lifetime, likely, when you have been embodying as earth, it has been done largely recently in a time of forgetting. So in the time of forgetting, the experience of embodiment, of being in the body, often has been experienced as very dense. And so it can feel important or necessary to separate body and spirit conceptually, because the body experience is so dense, and the light experience feels like such a contrast to that dense experience of the body. But now you are in a time of remembering. You're here and you're listening to this because you are part of what is very consciously making the switch from the time of forgetting to the time of remembering. And in this time of remembering, part of the switch is integrating both light and earth as one. And as this occurs, part of what is likely to be, what you may be feeling, is a lightening up gradually, or even quite quickly, and either way is fine, a lightening up of that density of your earth body experience. So, what the energetics of this time are really powerfully supporting you to be doing, especially in this initiatory time as Pluto has just entered Aquarius. Uranus is there ruling Pluto now, but Uranus is in Taurus. And this new moon, which is the first new moon with Pluto having moved into Aquarius in this time of Pluto being in Aquarius, this new moon happens to also be in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus in Taurus. And the new moon itself is almost exactly squaring Uranus in Taurus. And then in addition, the North Node is conjunct Chiron, which also is very much an energetic of holding space for the ultimate healing, divine blueprint of the energy body and of the earth body and light as one. And then Eros, the asteroid, and Cupido, the asteroid, and also Psyche are so beautifully interweaving their energetics and their reminders and their space holding into the energetic and the space holding of this whole cosmic dance, the time of this new moon, and as we are entering this time of Pluto being in Aquarius for the next several months, and then starting in November of 2024 for the next 20 years. So part of the energetic blueprint of what is actually being initiated in this moment as we're entering this time of remembering, very conscious choosing of remembering, is a switch from disembodying as light to feeling and remembering what it is to be embodied as light, to have the light infusing, creating our earth bodies, which are also light, and the earth herself, which is also light. And really, again, we've said this before, but a big component of what is being held to be happening in this time is that the light grid of all of existence and of each of our bodies, which includes the body of the earth herself, the bodies of all plants, all animals. Animals include humans, the bodies of every being of this planet, of all planets, of the sun, the light grid of all of existence throughout all of time and all of space, through connecting every single star, every single galaxy, every single being, everywhere, in every dimension. It's all coming back to the reality, the remembering of the wholeness and the oneness of the all that is. And so as we come back into that remembering of the wholeness and the oneness, the ways in which the divine is manifesting in physical form in infinite different ways throughout all of time and all of space, the physical form is getting infused with this electric light, the pure spark of the divine, running clearly and freely through this whole grid of light, of the ultimate divine blueprint of the all that is, of all of time, all of space, in this time-space continuum. And so again, you can you can think of, in the void, in space that is still source, beyond the time-space continuum, there is no earth body, there is no physical form in the sense necessarily. And yet in the time-space continuum, there is. But the embodiment of the light of the divine does not make that manifestation of the divine any less divine. And that seems obvious, and yet we just want to take a deep breath and sit with that for a moment. And we'll repeat it because it feels like an important energetic to be conveying. And as always, we do speak these things in words so that you can hear the words, but more than the words, we're hoping that you are able to just feel the energetic of what we are conveying. It's so far beyond the words. We hope this is a healing energy transmission for you more than anything. It's not really meant to be a lecture. It's meant to be an opportunity for a very beautiful energy transmission in whatever way is just right for you. So again, to come back to our point just one more time, what we said before, and we'll repeat it now, is when light, when the divine is embodied, either in earth form or another form, such as a star or a planet or any other infinite ways in which the divine is manifested in the time-space continuum, that embodiment is literally a form of manifestation of the energetic of the divine itself. So the sentence will repeat is the embodiment of the divine does not make that manifestation, which happens to be embodied, any less divine. There is nothing more divine or less divine than anything else. Everything is part of the divine. Everything is divinity, is the divine. And so in this time of remembering, it's not a matter of becoming more or less divine than maybe we have been before. It's a matter of coming back into the energetic, ultimate divine blueprint of what we are as embodied divine. So that light and earth and cosmos can dance freely, can be embraced as one, so that the divine can absolutely love the dance that it is doing as earth, as cosmos, as time, and as space throughout infinite dimensions, infinite places, infinite spaces, through the whole time-space continuum. That's what we're remembering. And so if anything, in that remembering, we are perhaps letting go of a certain level of density in the embodiment experience. And yet, in another interesting way, this allows us to sink into becoming more and more and more fully embodied as light, as earth, as cosmos, and to revel in it, to love it. That's the Eros energy, the Cupido energy, with the psyche there too. To literally dance and make love as life itself, as body itself, as earth itself, as the all that is, as a sacred temple, literally, of the divine. And so it is. Amen. All right. That's what they wanted to say. Beautiful. There's so much there. So much more there, of course. Yeah, and a lot of what they spoke to actually is so relevant to what is already coming through and what I see is meant to come through in the Ultimate Divine Blueprint series, which again, we've already started. We've already done the first month. But if you feel called to join in the next, especially in the next couple of weeks, I do feel like maybe there are a couple more who are meant to be there. So if that's you, definitely feel free to join us. It's so powerful, so so powerful, beyond words. What's happening, I feel, is a co-remembering of existence itself. Amazing, amazing process already happening. So anyway, yeah, wonderful. And then I'll just say a little word also about the Infinite Soul Wisdom Astrology 101 course, which is starting on February 1st, 2024. We're having our opening ceremony that day. This is going to be a 13-month course. I've said lots and lots and lots about it in lots of other videos and emails. If you know, this course is, it's becoming more and more clear to me that it's just something unlike anything that I know of anywhere. And I think it's not only because I'm doing something different. I mean, maybe I am doing something different, but it's also, I think, two other components. Number one is, I think the time we are in now, Pluto having, entering Aquarius and all of this, I think we're being held in a very, very specific, very different way than maybe we have been ever or recently or whatever it is. Because yeah, what I felt happening last week, I held the Anatomy and Soul of the Cosmos workshop, which is a preliminary workshop for the astrology course. It's free for everybody who signed up for the astrology course, but also people could join who are not part of the astrology course. And that's now recorded and available indefinitely. But in that workshop, what I did was I went through, on a cognitive level, I went through our whole cosmos, all the components of our cosmos, of our solar system, and then some places in our cosmos beyond our solar system. And I talked about the astronomy and the science of each of those components, but then also the role that they tend to be thought of in astrology. But then what we did is then I channeled a guided experience for all of us to come in, to basically travel through the solar system and beyond. And what I recognized is happening is a co-remembering of the truth of existence. It's so Uranian, so Aquarian, actually, so Aquarian. A co-remembering in sacred circle of the truth of who these beings are, these sacred beings, the planets, the asteroids, the Kuiper Belt objects, the sun, the moon, the earth, all of these cosmic beings are deeply sacred beings, right? And so what was coming alive in that, when we had the discussion after the channeled part, was absolutely astounding, blew me away at what I recognized is, it feels like just the tiniest, teeniest taster of what I think is meant to be happening in this astrology course. And I'm so excited and so looking forward to it, because again, those of you who have already joined that also are just so amazing, wonderful beings. And all levels of astrological knowledge. It doesn't matter if you have zero knowledge or full-fledged astrologer. What I'm feeling happening and meaning to be happening in this container, this sacred container of this astrology course, is what was already starting to happen in that workshop last week, is a co-remembering in our own relationship with these cosmic beings and with the cosmos itself and with each other and with ourselves, of the wisdom of everything. Yeah, and we're having some really beautiful conversations about, I would call, the cutting edge of where astrology has gone up until this point. And so I would say this course is also very Uranian, it's very Aquarian and Jupiterian. I'm very Uranian and Jupiterian, so That's probably why, part of why. But and Virgo, lots of Virgo in that, and Pisces. Okay, but lots of things. Anyway, no, very exciting. And yeah, so much more about that I've already shared in lots of other videos. But maybe that gives you the gist, the taster, if you haven't heard much about it yet. And if that is calling to you, it is absolutely what the spirit world shows me is that with both the Divine Blueprint series and with the Astrology 101 course, there are very specific beings who are meant to be a part of it. And and if that includes you, then I would hope and guess that you would feel it like a spark, like ding, ding, ding in some way. And I would hope you would know it on a deep soul level that it's calling to you. If you're not sure for any reason, please reach out to me. I do have time to speak with you or email with you. If you're not sure if you're, if the astrology course is right for you, there is a sliding scale option if you need that. Yeah. So I think that's all for right this minute. Beautiful, 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 beautiful energies we're in right now. So beautiful, and so much more coming in, especially February and then April. April, it's huge, 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 huge. But in February, we're going to also have that Chiron North Node conjunction, and then the Venus Mars conjunction toward the end of February. So I'll talk more about those when I do a full moon video in a couple of weeks. I also am going to be having doing another video with Melanie Reinhart and with Chris Skidmore in the middle of February. And we are going to be the purpose of us getting together to do that is going to be to specifically talk about Venus and Mars finally coming together, because we did other videos where we talked about the reality that last July, I think it was July or June, or I think it was July, Venus and Mars almost made a conjunction in Leo, but not quite. And then Venus went into the underworld, Mars went into the underworld, and now they both are going to finally completely meet at around 5 degrees of Aquarius, at the same time that Chiron is on the north node of the moon and Shiva is on the south node of the moon. So anyway, Melanie and Chris and I are going to be talking about that in the middle of February, which I'm really excited about. And I'm guessing lots of you will really enjoy that. And in case you are not aware, Melanie and Chris both actually are speakers in this Astrology 101 course. So Melanie just agreed about 2 weeks ago to be a speaker in the course. And I'm so happy and so honored and so excited that she's going to be part of it with us. And so, yeah, so Chris will be doing a monthly fireside chat gathering starting in March 2024, which is included as part of the Astrology 101 course. It actually can be purchased on its own as well. He's going to be diving into the mythology, the Greek and Roman mythology associated with the astrology that we're going to be covering in each month. So, if you've seen any of my interviews with Chris, he's an amazing he has an amazing relationship to Greek and Roman mythology in a very sacred way that I just love to witness personally, and I know a lot of you also do. And I just don't have that kind of a relationship yet, or in his way, I don't have it in his way to that mythology. And yeah, so he's going to be bringing in this component of the mythology in a way that I don't think it's my role to do that. So that's why I asked him to join. And so he will be doing that once a month with us in the course. And then Heather Ensworth, Melanie Reinhart, Kelley Hunter, and Julia Balaz will all be speakers in the astrology course giving one-time talks. Heather's will be first. It will be on February 27th. Melanie's will be second on July 17th. It's all 2024. And then Kelley will be those dates. Kelley and Julia, we haven't decided the dates yet, but Kelley will be 3rd, probably around September-ish. And then Julia will be later in 2024 or possibly early 2025. But anyway, so those are the 5 speakers who are part of the astrology course. It's such an honor, so amazing. And what it feels to me like is, the spirit world showed me very specifically how to hold this course. They're guiding the whole thing. They showed me very specifically who the guest speakers were meant to be. It was those 5 people. And, and then finally, Melanie just came on board a couple of weeks ago. And so it completed the vision. And I was like, wow, how that happens, right? Again, that's also quite Uranian and Aquarian, to get shown these visions of how the light is meant to manifest and literally embody itself. And I could go on and on and on about that, actually. How I get shown visions of things, how they're meant to manifest. That's a very Uranian Aquarian quality. And I know that a lot of you have similar kinds of visions. We all have it in our own unique way. Just want to say that very clearly. But part of, I feel like, as we're moving into this new way of being, coming more online as ourselves, as the light and earth as one, is, I think that this, I'll say more about this in other videos in the future. But I think that, coming into this way of envisioning things in concert with the divine is probably going to come more and more online. So that's just a little side note, making a note in the back of my mind. I'll say more about that in another video. But yeah, so anyway, I was given this very clear vision of this course, and it's all coming true. It's so cool. Yeah, but the overarching point is that the spirit world is holding the space of the whole thing. And then it feels to me like clearly, obviously, I'm part of what's holding the space as well. But these guest speakers are like, it was so specific that it had to be them, and specifically only them, even though I'm friends with lots and lots of astrologers, amazing astrologers, and would have loved to include, lots of people. But it was meant to be specifically these people for whatever reason. I mean, they're amazing, so it makes sense. But the energetic of them is part of what's holding the space of the whole canopy of our time together. And then you, of course, all of you who are called to be part of it, we're all holding this together. It's like I talked about in a previous video, I get shown it at both as a forest and as the canopy of a mushroom. And a couple of you shared with me some really beautiful reflections of the mushroom, because I was sitting there going, why is it a mushroom? Anyway, yet another tangent that I'm not going to go on right this second. But thank you for those of you who shared your feelings. That was so helpful to me. That was really, really beautiful. But again, the mushroom to me, it's like really embodied, yet a manifestation of the divine. And as one of you pointed out to me, it's incredibly ancient and has the mycelium, where we're, it's like a reflection of our energetic connection throughout everything. Okay, I could go on many tangents with all of this. It's very exciting, very fun. So please join me in whatever way you feel called to join. And please, if any of this resonated for you, I'd love to know. Put it in the comments. Click like if you liked this. That helps me, again, to know what to do more of and less of. I am hoping in the next few weeks to start, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I do want to start doing some meditation videos for this YouTube channel out in nature, just honestly, because I think it would be really relaxing and fun for me to record them. And also because I think that, some of you have already said that you would like that. So I am hoping to do that. I'm tentatively in my mind thinking I'll do the first one a week from today, which will be next Monday. But it's definitely on my mind. I'm looking into good cameras and stuff like that. So I'm hoping they'll be really, really beautiful and helpful for you. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop right there. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see lots of you soon. Thursday, February 1st is the opening ceremony for the Astrology 101 course. I would love to have you there if it's calling to you. And otherwise, see you very soon. Thank you so much for being part of this community in whatever way you are here listening to this video. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. All right. See you soon.